So welcome to your Monday, March 24th Power Hour meeting with Katelyn, Carly, and Claire. So as Claire started to kick things off, how was everyone feeling? Are we feeling okay? Are we feeling energized?
It's so gloomy today.
It's gloomy today. Thanik's hungover. Thanik had a very eventful day at the Raptors yesterday.
Game. 3/4.
That's okay. That's good to like sports because more positive than some other stuff going on in the world right now. So that's all right.
Carly and I had solo trips today or this weekend, which was funny. Have you guys gone to Thermea Spa in Whitby yet?
Yes.
Yeah. I went Friday night alone, and Carly went yesterday alone. It's a very nice place if you guys have nothing to do during the day and you just want to.
We're kind of blessed to be so close to us to have an outdoor spa like that, right?
Yeah.
So it's nice.
Good spot to send your clients to. But yeah.
No, it's good. Anyone run open houses? I know you only did Katelyn on Sunday.
I didn't do anything.
Oh, you canceled. Oh,
we
so
sold ours conditionally.
So you didn't cancel it in Brugger Bay then? You wanted it to still show up.
Oh, the grass. Yes.
Just times you sold it, so you canceled it. So that's good. That's all right. I didn't do open house. I know Shiv's team's not here. They had a bunch of open houses. Oh yeah, you did one. Yeah.
How was it?
Well,
Oh.
It was on the Sunday you did it, or
What was the price point?
wait, well, see that bundle fully renovated for 25.
okay.
Where is it?
And it was slow. Interesting.
Was Sunday the snow day? When did it start snowing again?
Like
Overnight.
Last night.
Okay, so
Yeah, it was last night.
okay.
Were you outside?
Was it windy or gloomy? What was the weather? No.
Yesterday was sunny.
It was, yes. Okay. Saturday morning. Yeah. Okay. So it should have been okay
I
then.
think yesterday was bright, but it was cold. Huh?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Or maybe people are still away as well. I don't know.
March break.
Anyone online do open houses? Is March break over, or does it change per school zone? Yeah, so just quiet then. Maybe everybody's still uncertain with all the new stuff happening, which Claire's going to talk about as well.
I'm not talking about that today.
Oh, okay.
Don't want to talk about the election. I'll talk about the election. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I mean, you predicted that, so now you have to validate it. Yeah, true. Okay, well, kind of what we feel is what we're feeling right now as well.
Gloomy.
Yeah, it's just uncertain. People don't know what's happening, right?
I think quite a bit happened there. I think quite a bit happened in the last week there. So I think that that things are going. Like I know, you guys sold a bunch,
We
didn't you?
sold 5.
5 houses. These guys sold 5 houses between the 3 of you, right? So.
Yeah.
Yeah, the main demographic for our people right now, first-time home buyers with really low budgets. Like we got a call, our budget was $480, and at first I was like, oh. And then actually, yeah, there is a lot of stuff out there, especially downtown right now.
Yeah.
Single females
I was gonna say
are dominating the.
4 out of 5.
Mhm.
4 out of 5 of our clients were all single women that are newly single buying condos, which is all condos, which is very
So
interesting.
Sirhan said something here interesting today, and I guess you're going to talk about what he said too. He said something about you got a buyer out there, and his example was a buyer that wanted to buy a $20 million condo in the west part of Manhattan, whatever else. And he was talking to the guy, showing him stuff, and then he let the guy go. Did talk to him for 6 months or so, and then the guy ended up buying on the east side through somebody else.
Oh shoot!
And his message was that even though they're telling you that, and you're trying to narrow it down, you as a real estate agent want to open it up. You don't want to close it down. You want to open it up because you've heard the thing where people say buyers are liars. Not buyers aren't liars, just that they don't know what they want.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you have to
So you've got to the point now as an engineer type person. Maybe you've narrowed it down to 3.1 bedrooms and 4.5 kilometers from the school, and like you narrowed it down to all these very sticks things. Meanwhile, there is another thing. So maybe you have to throw something in there once in a while that doesn't match what they're talking about, just to keep them interested, right?
It's hard.
So case in point was you guys got a call from somebody that was kicked out of a basement apartment. Do you want to finish the story?
Yeah.
Let me finish. Only because I'm going to tell.
I'm the storyteller here. It's true. He's way better at storytelling.
No, I'm going to tell the story, not the facts. So I'm trying to give the lesson, not the details.
It's true.
Right?
Yeah.
So somebody phoned up. They're in a basement park. We've known this family for baseball years. So they phoned up, and actually the father phoned up and said, "Look, my daughter's in the basement apartment in a situation there. She needs to find another place to rent."
She called me first, and then the dad followed up.
He's telling the story. Don't tell the
Sorry.
facts.
All right, so you can complete the story.
Go for it. Keep going.
So at the end of the day, somebody said, "Well, maybe you can buy instead." So they had to run through Varan there to see whether she qualified because she had a job. Just so she had a basement apartment doesn't mean anything. She got a family situation where she's single all of a sudden. anyways, he qualified her. She went and bought a place for $480,000, and Bob's your uncle.
Yep, really low budget. But Pickering had what she was looking for, and what was good about her is that she was open. She wasn't like, okay, this is my low budget, and I expect a 2-bedroom, brand new condo. She was open to one of the older condos in Pickering that's been around for many years, but it was a bigger unit, exactly the neighborhood she grew up in, and it was perfect.
And then you look at the client, and you may get some buyers out there that want to buy their parents' house, right? And they want the new condo, they want the new this, they want the new that, and then old condos put their nose down to it. But here's somebody that's grateful just to have a place,
Yeah.
rather
got 2 months to get
rather than a basement apartment. So here it all worked out,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
But she also came with that motivation because she came with, I got to get out in 2 months. It's either I'm renting or I'm buying, but I got to get out. So it was one of the D's that we talked about for one of the motivations, which is divorce. So she had a motivation there. So that's what we're always trying to find, is that motivated client. She literally called me, and in a week she bought. Like, she was motivated. Those don't come by very often, but a motivated client's awesome to work with.
So that was going on. So you can create sales out of you can create sales. We also had a whack of appointments. Nelson, you're telling me on the weekend there.
Busy weekend. Busiest weekend.
Well, the business
That's why
week is
Broker
about
Bay went down on Sunday, I guess.
Broker Bay.
Yeah. So it was so busy, Broker Bay went down on Sunday.
And I just checked the stock market about 10 minutes ago, and the stock market's up about 1.4% today. Now it's going to go up and down, but positive news, if you want to just keep an eye on the stock market, this sort of tells you what the mood of the people would be as well. So the stock market's going up, then I think the mood is higher. A lot of people aren't in stock markets, I understand that, but it is a barometer of what the confidence is in the real estate. So I think that's going up as well. Good.
It's interesting. You want to drop right into stocks?
Sure.
then?
Okay. So let me just prove my point.
Yeah, exactly.
It's on a roll today.
So we got how many active listings do you think we have?
24,000.
Is that a lot?
Yeah.
That's a lot.
For us.
So it used to be the old days there, and I can talk about the old days because I am one. So we used to be one listing per active agent was considered a good market. Anything higher than one listing per active agent was considered a bad market. Below was considered a buyer's market. So we got 68,000 agents, and there's 24,000 listings. So that theory goes out the door now. But it is out there. There's lots more out to purchase. And who's running buyers right now? And what do your buyers think about the prices? There's 24,000 active listings there. What are your buyers saying?
They still think it's overpriced.
So and why do they think it's overpriced? So the buyers think it's overpriced. And how about sellers? Who's got sellers right now? What are your sellers thinking?
It's not enough.
Not enough. Interest rates are going to go
No,
down,
that's
so
saying.
prices are going to go
Yeah.
up.
Our sellers, they don't know. They're not saying that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Our sellers are saying we better sell now because we don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
We've been waiting for a year already. Yeah, it's interesting.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, but the sellers want the price. I think 2022 prices or what the neighbor got. Like they can't get their head around the fact that a $1.4 million house today is worth 1.1, 1.2.
It's hard to come back once you see it there. It's hard to get your brain, down from that.
Okay, well, there's lots of Jews out there though.
There is, yeah.
But I think the buyers still don't understand that they're getting a deal, because even we had a client saying, I thought I was going to get a better steal on this condo because she's offering what it's listed at. And that to her is not a deal because she's not getting way under asking. So I had to show her that these condos were selling for like $150,000 more 2 years ago than they are today. I'm like, this is the steal. They just don't see a couple of years ago prices. So like they don't think they're getting a steal because they're not getting like 100 under asking. Yeah. So you have to show them, no, you are getting, this is the deal. You're in the deal right now.
Okay.
They just don't see the list price.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we have 24,000 active listings, 12,000 are freeholds, 11,200 or so are condos. So of the vacants, I'm just running numbers here. The vacants properties for everything is about 38%. So 38% of those 24,000 properties are vacant. 30% of freeholds are vacant, and 46% of condos are vacant. So that tells us something going on right there, right? That the condo market is suspect right now. Does anybody agree with that? Condo market's so-so. All right. Sales right now, unfortunately, we're down 33%. And yeah, they're both, yeah. Condos are down 35%, freeholds are down 32%. That has a direct relationship, in my opinion, not to the politics, I think.
It has to be.
I think it's a direct relationship because our interest rates dropped, what, 2 weeks ago?
Yeah.
Did that have any effect on anybody here? At zero?
No,
zero?
now we're asking, when's the next one? Great.
Well,
When's
you know,
the next one?
And I've been hearing that for the last 2 years.
Yeah, I know.
You know.
But they're right, because there is always a next one. Or like,
Anyway, so I just thought it didn't tell me anything there. I thought I'd just compare sales. Well, let me finish this here for a second. So that's 145 sales per day right now. We're on track for that. 145 per day. 91 would be freeholds. 54 would be condos. 145 to date per day isn't very much. It'd be like what, 4,200?
mm-hmm.
It's 4,200 or so.
Last week as well.
Who's old here? I always freak out the girls when we do the math in our head. They think, "How'd you do that?" Right? That's the same as me, right? But here's the good news, right? February 23. So you take the first 23 days in February versus the first 23 days in March. Our sales are actually up 10%. They're actually up 14% for freeholds and up 10% for condos. So we're actually better for the first 23 days of our February. So that tells me, again, the market is picking up. You don't want to compare to last year. 35% last year was last year. Different times, different places, right? But from February, we're up a little bit. I wanted to check just to get an idea. And I really didn't really happen the way I wanted it to, but I wanted to check the sales for over $1 million and under $1 million, whether or not, like, are we seeing like under $1 million is selling versus over $1 million selling?
It's a good check, yeah.
Right, but I didn't get anything conclusive because it's about properties that sold for over $1 million. 8% of our condos last year sold for over $1 million, and this year 9% sold for over $1 million. So it's about the same.
Mm-hmm.
If I take my freehold, same thing. 62% of the properties sold over $1 million and 61% this year. So 62% last year, 61% this year. So it really didn't tell me what I want to know, other than people are telling me that it's the lower price stuff that's selling. But I have a feeling that it's everything that's selling as long as it's priced right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've heard a couple of guys are doing deals right now in the $2 million range, $4 million range. So there's still some buyers out there for the big stuff as well. It's there. If I take my leases, there are also 17,000 active leases, 7,000 freeholds, 10,000 are condos. Leases themselves, everybody's telling me how the lease market's going down.
That's what the media's saying too.
That's what the media's telling you, right? Mm-hmm. But actually the sales they're up 16% from last year, the number of leases. That's for condos. Overall is 10%. And for freeholds are up 2%. If I compare the leases for the first 23 days in March versus the first 23 days in February, which would be a good measure, leases right now are up 36% this month. Up for condos, 30% for everything, and 23% for freeholds.
That makes sense though, because it's prices that are going down, not the number.
So this is my point. You're right. Okay, so when the media talks about things going down, you think, woe is me. No, it's prices are going down.
Which is a good thing.
Right.
And I think people that couldn't sell for their price are putting their house up for lease and they're leasing it. So that's also contributing to the number of leases.
What'd you guys think of my idea about the auction?
I feel like people are going to wait. The middle, I notice it's going down.
I feel like you're bored and you're trying to like shake the market up. You can tell the audience what you think.
Yeah,
I think it's cool.
Are you guys like me? I read stuff where there's new AI company that's going to turn real estate on its ear. There's a new discount company that's going to turn real estate on its ear. There's a new it goes on.
Agents are going to auction for their own leads now.
So now, yeah, there's what's the latest one? Yeah, bid for the client's commissions. These things, by the way, nothing new. They just change it. AI is nothing more than a bot, as far as I can see. They've been doing those for years. But anyways, so here's an idea I came up with, and my ideas are a little out there. So
I can tell when you schedule send them and you get them when it comes at an exact perfect time. I know it was last night at midnight and you scheduled it for us to see this morning. So
any people here from Dutch? Who's anybody from Holland? Anybody here? No. So what they do in Holland, if they sell flowers, okay, like they'll if anybody watch the auction house when they sell tulips, right? They'll bring out a whole basket full of tulips in front of all the auctioneers, and they'll auction on that basket of tulips. But not like an American auction where they start at $1 and who's going to $1, $2, $3, $4. No, they start at $100. And what they say, okay, it's $100, and then they'll leave a couple minutes, $99, $97, $94, and they go down to the point where somebody says they buy it. You follow me there? I was just thinking, why not do that have a rental coming up? Would that
how
do that for a rental?
for rent.
You got a rental sitting there, and you say, okay, I'm going to drop the price $100 per day at noon every day until the property sells. The first offer I get firm wins. I don't know.
I think they'd be too scared.
It's too scary.
It's like, oh. That's weird.
But there's a fail-safe because it's a lease, and every lease is subject to the landlord's approval of the tenant. So it's not like you're locked in.
Or price change forms too.
A lot of paper.
Well, we talked about last week. Okay, we got to think outside the box. Okay,
Sure.
Same thing. Like you're sitting there, you and 4 other people are trying to rent the same condominium in some new complex there. What's the difference between yours and theirs? So why not give them a years of Rogers TV or something, or give them a free parking spot, or give them do something that's different that separates you from everybody else.
So don't just reduce the price.
If reduce the price obviously, but if everybody reduces the price,
Yeah, I think you should do it.
We could try it.
I don't want it. Somebody else try it.
Who's got a lease listing?
But the only problem we have is that agents won't understand. Just like some agents don't understand if you don't put an offer date on the listing, then they don't understand that you have to put an offer in by that date. So I'm not sure whether
because there's agents out there that don't have an offer date and are expecting above asking, and that's
There's a lot of those right now, especially in the condo world. Yeah.
good. That's it.
Well, you mentioned earlier the number of agents. I got this email that looked at the number of agents per population. So I think you mentioned about 69,000 agents right now, which is about 1 realtor per 103 people in the GTA. So for every 100 people, there's a realtor for them, which is actually up from 2023, which was 1 realtor for every 90 people. So a little bit different. Then they looked at a little bit, this guy was from Windsor, so he looked at their stats too. But you've heard the sayings, 4 to 5 agents won't be in the business in the next 5 years. 10% of the agents make 90% of the money, all these stats that you've heard, right? So the message is, I mean, the number of licenses isn't actually reducing that much because people are still in school right now. So all those licenses are going to come, and actually there's an increase in the number of people going to school still. So even though our market's down, and we do know that when the market goes down, less people get their license or they get rid of their license, but it's not happening as much as you would think it is yet. So we haven't seen the impact. But just some notes for you guys, if you want to make sure that you're in the top 10% and you want to keep renewing your license every 5 years, you have to know your own value proposition. So when you're competing for business, you have to know what you're offering, what's your own personal value proposition, right? Because you're going to be competing with these people and they're going to be reducing their commission. That's the only thing they're going to be focused on. So you have to know what your value is to make sure you get your commission and you get the listing. So know your value prop, know your market and stats, make sure you're coming to Monday meetings, you're listening to Clare, do your own market research on the stats as well. Focus on money-making, producing activities. Master your listing presentation. This is still one that I think people have room to improve on. And we're actually working on a little project right now to do a new and enhanced 2025 listing presentation to help you. But a CMA is not a listing presentation. We hear this so often. Hey, I'm on my way to a listing. Can you send me some comparables? I'm on my way to a listing. Can you send me a quick listing presentation? This is not a quick thing. This is something you have to practice in advance. You have to have it ready. And we do tons of training on it. There's tons of systems on this. So there's no shortage of information for that. And utilizing tools, systems, and custom resources for meetings, marketing, staying in touch, asking for referrals. So we'll talk a little bit about what Sirhan was talking about today. But all the things we put out to you guys are what's going to help you know your value proposition and compete in the world with 70,000 other real estate agents in your market. It's a very competitive real estate market we have. Have you seen that too for people who've been in the business? Do licenses go down as the market goes down? Is that typical? And it comes up and the market gets good and everyone jumps in and gets their license?
So the Asian population is about a year and a half behind the market.
Yeah.
So in other words, when the market took off, then you had all these agents joining the real estate board. But,
Took them a couple years.
It took a couple of years to see what's going on. And we'll see the same thing. The 68,000, 69,000, that'll actually drop soon.
Yeah, so maybe by next year, a year after, we'll see the impact of actually people
And they're
dropping.
changing the education though too. With it's not Humber anymore. It's Plumber, Fleming, and I think a couple others.
Which actually makes it easier though.
Make it easier. We don't know, but it'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, they'll have more opportunities.
Yeah.
we'll see. But again, for you guys, you have to know your own value proposition so you can compete, right?
Yeah, non-TERA members also can list.
Non-TREB board members.
Non-TREB members can be what?
I mean,
Sell it and
Non-TREB.
listed with somebody else.
so you're saying people could have a license on RICO and not be a TREB member? Technically, if you have a RICO license, you could trade in Ontario, but you wouldn't be able to book a showing, not easy. You wouldn't know comparables because you don't have access to MLS. You wouldn't have any maybe relationship with board members who are trading their listings on MLS as well. So technically, legally, yes, you can, but I don't know how you would properly service a client without properly having the information on the board.
Your broker record also cannot belong to the real estate board.
So us as a brokerage, we're a TREB brokerage, right? So all of our agents have to be on TREB. But
The fee would be less than half.
Fees,
If you go for the TREB.
Yeah.
you may save $2,000, which is like one lease, right?
But then if you want to go reinstate again, you got to pay that fee anyways. So if you're planning on trading, you might as well keep it.
But yeah, there's companies, there's parking mirror listings. That's all been competitive. You've had that for years and years. That's not new.
Used to also be, and I don't know what the rules are today because everybody's changed the rules for it, but a member board has no obligation to pay a non-member board any commission.
Fair point too.
So if that guy's gonna be a non-board member, he's got to get paid by his own client.
I had an argument with someone who came like that, and they came and said, I'm the one who's representing."
Oh.
Is he a member of the board?
Well, yeah, broker was a member.
Well, then his agent had to be a member of the board too.
Yeah, but the agent wasn't.
Then you just, that's an easy fix.
It's true. So we can see in the stats, market is down, and I liked this sort of synopsis of what's been happening since January. So this was an agent, just like us, just a regular agent. He had a listing. He had two people calling him saying, "I'm going to bring you an offer." He had an offer date, and he was all excited, and these people were going to bring an offer. Then Donald Trump came and started talking, when we first started talking about tariffs. So he started doing his interviews, all this stuff started happening. That offer night came about a week after the first initial conversations. No offers, zero, dead. All those, the two that thought they were going to come in, didn't come in. He said between 4 p.m. and 6 p.m. on that same day, it was like a complete block of ice came on towards the Toronto real estate market. It's kind of true, right? Like we felt like we had all this momentum. We're getting ready for spring market, everything looking good. And then it's just like, bam. So things about trade war and tariffs and counter tariffs and all this stuff came. And it's hit us quite hard a little bit. So agents are noticing as well. I can see in your energy, like I'm noticing it in you guys as well. And we thought that people were going to be ramping up, and now even our sellers are taking a little break and waiting now till April and then May, and everyone's waiting for the next interest, waiting for the next piece of news. But do you guys feel like that? Like we had this momentum and they just kind of like got blocked, like just nothing, right? We had all these hits all at once. So some agents are telling their sellers to wait. Some agents, like we're telling our sellers, list right now because I don't know what it's going to be like in the fall. Could be even worse than it is right now. So if you have to move, now's the time to do something. But yeah, agents in our GTA are really seeing the impact of all of this news. So I don't know how we're going to come out of it. But they're definitely seeing it. And then what's, I think, driving the market right now is less of the flippers, less investors. It's more the first-time home buyers, people that don't have a house to sell. They're getting into the market, or people that actually have life events. So like the Ds that we always talk about. But it's been an interesting time. So, I mean, how are we going to get out of this? We can't live like this forever. We're going to wait every day and check the news and wait. Like, what are we going to do?
It'll be fun.
Right?
I was reading the weekend there back in when? I'll make a guess, 1940s. The 1920s maybe. Anyways, they tried to put this is not the first time that the U.S. has put tariffs on us. So is it 20s? Yeah. So it's not the first time they put tariffs on us, and we're here today. So, 1930, the Americans put tariffs on. That's before the Depression. I know that. Right. Anyways, we're here today. So.
Yeah, but I mean that's a lot of time. So what did you do to get here today? What did you do mentally?
No, everybody. The sellers have to get realistic with their pricing, and then the buyers qualify. And that's it.
Same thing happened in 2008.
2008 was a little bit of a blip too. Yeah.
Like this.
Yep.
So who was there in those times that have advice for us?
There's no tariffs.
What advice do you have for us and for us newbies that are just getting into this world? How can we get past the prospecting? Yeah, a lot can be solved.
Clients.
Try new clients and try and start and talked a little bit about today.
Yeah.
That's fair. Do you want to talk about your prediction then?
Which one?
You predicted it. We should need to pull it up when Chris does our reel. We have to pull up your 2 meetings ago. You predicted both elections so far.
Oh, okay. I knew for sure there was going to be there had to be an election for the end of April for feds.
Yes.
Because there's no way that they're going to prorogue. The government had to be unprorogued. And as soon as it's unprorogued, then the Conservatives are going to they're going to bring a election anyway. So the Liberals might as well be proactive.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't want to talk about it very well.
You have to, because this is what our clients are asking us about, right? We need
So
to know
my feeling for talking with people here, if everybody wants to guess what's going to happen in the federal election here, is I think a lot of people are going to dump Liberals for sure because they didn't like Trudeau and they thought the policies were hurting us. And now everybody's looking at it a second time and everybody's thinking, well, which is the better leader to deal with this tyrant down there? It's probably going to, is it the Polyev or is it Carney? And I think a lot of people wanted to vote for Liberals, have always voted for Liberals, did not want to vote for Liberals because of what's going on, but now they have an excuse to vote for Liberals, so therefore they're going to go back to Liberals.
Yeah.
So I think we're going to have another minority government.
Mm-hmm.
And it could be red.
It's gonna be disaster.
Could be a disaster. Yeah. Yeah. And then people might say, well, Carney's never had public office, well, either did Trump.
Mm-hmm.
Right? He never had public office either. So it's up to you guys, right? It's up to us. Who do you think is going to be able to handle this guy better, right? So.
But Trump is still doesn't want to talk to Mark Carney yet.
Yeah. Or vice versa.
Sure.
Right? I think he's done the right thing. I think Carney said, look, I'll talk to Trump when I get respect. Guys, stop talking like you're going to take us over and then talk like a mature conversation here. Just don't be blasting all that stuff.
They should stop talking. They should stop acting. They should stop working.
Now, one thing they have done good in the last week, they haven't even spoke about it.
Yeah.
I was going to say, there's been less chit-chat.
They're letting the bureaucrats do what they have to do behind closed doors. And at the end of the day, I don't think that if I want to go to tariffs, I'll take another prediction. I bet the automotive business gets a break because it's too complicated and it's too many jobs, and they might want to do it later on, but they can't do it overnight.
You mean April 2nd they won't do it?
Yeah, April 2nd. I bet they'll do something for the automotive. The other stuff, maybe not, right? Mm-hmm. But automotive is so important for both sides, so I think there'll be some adjustments to that.
Mm-hmm. Are our Tesla drivers going to turn in their Teslas? Are we keeping them? You're keeping? I'm turning mine in.
To a hippie van?
Yeah, maybe a hippie van, Volkswagen. Why not?
Mm-hmm. The other thing that the Liberals have done is they've copied the Conservatives. So
they really are.
Like I'm a conservative person myself. There, I prefer to less taxes and less everybody fight for themselves. But so that's okay. Yeah,
I mean they did drop officially the capital gains tax. Remember the 250,000 capital gains we all talked about last year? Even though CRA really wanted to move forward with it, and they did. So there are some people that are going to have to pay that back. We'll do a reassessment for those people, but they did drop it completely, and that was the Liberals that did that as well. So they lost maybe potentially a lot of revenue over that too, but it just never took off. It never got approved. CRA did actually try to enforce it a little bit, but now it's completely dropped as well. So that was supposed to take into effect in June, and no longer June of last year, and no longer will happen. So that part's gone.
CRA is acting like a government.
And they actually did. Yeah, CRA did. And so people between June and now who did get reassessed at that 250, well, now they'll get it paid back. So it's interesting. We talked about rental prices. So we do have stats that show rental prices have come down. Are you guys seeing that in looking for tenants? Is that a good thing for tenants though? Are you securing more for your tenants, or I'm seeing nods? Yeah.
Going back up.
You see prices are going back up?
Yeah, it came down. But
Oh, in which area? Which area?
mainly some Pickering,
Pickering I could see because there's not as much going on except for the brand new towers in terms of condos. But yeah. So, I mean, we've had a drop of international students, and that's going to be a real impact, especially later on this year for September enrollments. So that's, majorly you're going to see an impact there. But a combination of less students, less immigration overall, especially in the Toronto and Vancouver areas, the rental rates have dropped, which has spurred more visas being leased out. So I don't think that's a bad thing. I think prices were overinflated anyways after COVID, and I think now it's more realistic. You have a ton of lease listings. Are they priced realistically or no, they're overpriced?
Mine are overpriced, but we usually take, and I've noticed we take a lot of students, and that application's definitely gone down for that because those people are willing to pay more because they don't have credit scores and all of that.
Yeah, and that was your client whole strategy was to flip them, renovate them, get some good students in there, and so their business has been hurting then too.
Not hurting. I found in the last couple of months they've been renting. They have a lot of buildings,
but they're reducing their price too.
Yeah, they've been reducing more than they usually do.
Yeah. No, and it's also a little bit of a signal of the consumer market too, right? So renters are responding to whatever they see happening in the market. So if they're renting more, that means they feel maybe a little bit okay about their spending, but maybe they're not jumping into the ownership market, which is okay too. So, but no, it's definitely going to have an impact for your investor clients and anywhere outside, I think, the urban areas. And then I think in 2025, we're expecting 20,000 pre-construction units to close, and that's going to bring a whole flood of inventory to the market as well for leases. So that should be interesting. So between this year, 2025, they're expecting 20,000 condo units to be finished. That's a lot of condos, which is a great opportunity for those first-time buyers or people getting into the market and people that want to live in the core. I'm seeing lower prices in CO1, CO8 than I am now in Pickering and some suburban areas, right? Because I think less people want to be in the downtown core. Like Liberty Village is a great spot to be right now if you're price conscious.
Is it true that they are going to build bigger size condos?
That's what I'm reading. Yeah. If the math makes sense, because there is still a demand for families and bigger units, people that still want condo living. So developers may pay attention, but they're also building a lot of purpose-built rentals. And I think at some point, that's going to be an oversupply of it. We're already seeing that a little bit. And they're not getting the prices that they thought they would too for those rentals. So then maybe we'll see them come back for sale again. I'm not sure.
So the federal government, so pay attention to what the governments are doing now. They're throwing money around because of the election. So the federal government, current government, I guess the Liberals, are giving $2.55 billion to support Toronto rental projects. So they're going to be spending lots of money to try to develop rental purpose-built rentals. They're going to try to do 4,800 rental buildings over the next period of time, including 1,000 will be affordable rental units. So it's both. So it's 4,800 everything, and then 1,000 will be affordable homes. Areas that they're talking about would be like Victoria Park, 777 Victoria Park, Wilson Heights. These are some of the areas. I think more is on Kennedy Road. Up here someplace.
There's going to have too many.
Yeah, well, I don't know about that. And the Lawrence Avenue is like 3,300 Lawrence Avenue, bunch there as well. There's 12,000 homeless people in Toronto. That's a lot, eh? 10,000, yeah. So 10,000 of them use the shelters. So they're spending money on that. So trying to make things happen. So, and I was telling you last week, a couple weeks ago, that there was a building there. It was not, I forgot again. It's Fitch and Briarwood. Big rental unit there. Anyways.
What about it?
Just that there's a lot of purpose-built rentals all over.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah, in addition to cost of living and everything going up, I mean, our condo fees are going up as well as a result of all of these fees, right? So when you guys are shopping for condos, how are you educating your buyers about maintenance fees? Like, are they freaked out by maintenance fees? Are you looking at it per square foot? Maybe looking at what it includes as well, right? Because it's all different depending on the building, depending on how many units, how many square feet. There was some research done online that took a look at 1-bedroom units sold in the GTA, and they did a survey of which buildings had the most maintenance fees and which ones had the least. Typically, the ones that had the most were really old buildings built in the 70s. Any buildings that had pools, especially like whirlpools, hot tubs, that kind of thing as well. And then as well luxury buildings that have really luxury amenities. So like valet service, tons of staff and payroll type things. So some of the ones that ranked in the top 10 for the most expensive maintenance fees were Harbor Square. So that's right down by the water, built in 1976. Shangri-La, so that's on like the luxury side. Grand Harbor. So again, part of the survey showed a lot of that south sort of water, because that was all developed in the 70s. So a lot of those had high maintenance fees. But One York Quay, Villa Elegance, which is 3088 Kennedy, it's more south than here, was one in Ajax that got really high maintenance fees, 97 built. Burlington Building, Glasgow Gate, and then One King West. So that's a pretty luxurious building, but also built in 2005. So it's a little bit dated too. But they have a lot of amenities. It's connected right to the hotel as well. It's right here, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's that one.
Yeah. Yeah, so they have one of the most, and then some of the top 10 lowest, these are for just for 1 bedrooms, but Leeward Glenway, which I believe is near Flemington Park, Etobicoke, so 320 Dixon condos, 101 Prudential Scarborough, some Burlington again, 5 Massey Square, so that's part of a 3 tower. Those are huge. Those are one of the 2 or 3 built condos, I think, in the GTA. If you look at the condo number, it's like number 3 or something. Don Mills Bonus, 115 Bonus, and Bathurst, and then another, that's interesting, 38 Kennedy is listed twice.
Isn't it 115 bonus?
That's the lowest and the
Lowest and the highest. How is that? It's interesting. But yeah, I mean, you have to be careful maintenance fees. It's, and we explain it to clients too. You have a house and you're still paying for the maintenance of your roof and your furnace and all your stuff, and condos no different. You still have to pay a collective fee to share costs of the parking garage and the elevators and the roof and all those things. And that's why you do a status certificate review to make sure that the maintenance fees are covering, all good things, and to take a look at the reserve fund study and see what they're increasing. But
$1,000, not
it was a big unit though, big square feet, probably 1,500 square feet.
it was one of the heritage structures.
Oh, okay. So maybe they had a big hefty reserve fund. Okay, so old. Yes, yeah. Yeah, so big maintenance fees are common with big square feet and older buildings as well. Tons of amenities.
And the planning was so weird, and the bathroom was down. And
Yeah, the old heritage building. So yeah, they've got weird routes for plumbing.
Same thing with 4060 Lawrence.
Oh yeah, that's old too.
$90.
They had special assessments, I
17?
think, though.
17.
I think they had some special stuff.
Which
happening.
building is this?
Used to have long time ago.
Which building?
4060 Lawrence.
4060, the Highlander, right? At Galloway?
Is a
Galloway and Lawrence?
opposite
Yeah,
somewhere.
okay. It's always been like that, okay.
It's always like
That's those stacked townhouses. The same as over at Don Mills, they got stacked townhouses. They're crazy too. The stacked townhouses, the old ones, were built in the 1970s, and they have 2 stories. They have like bedrooms above, and you go downstairs, and they got like a kitchen and stuff on 2-story stacked townhouses.
Mm-hmm.
Underground parking, it's very expensive.
I mean, the bathroom was bigger than a bedroom.
Felt like it's just where the plumbing ended up. I hate sharing stories like this. It makes me so sad, but this was shared in our WhatsApp group as well. This is a story about an Ontario landlord who's owed $25,000 in back owed rent. So he had tenants not paying rent, took them to court. Every time he took them to court, the tenants appealed it. Basically, these were professional tenants who knew the process. He knew how many times he would be able to appeal it. Even when ordered to pay rent, they still didn't, because they knew that they'd be able to again it's just they're buying time, right? Point of the story, it's just so sad that Ontario, we can just let tenants get away with this, eh? Like in places like Alberta, you don't pay 2 weeks and you're out. But here it just drags on and on and on. The backlog is pretty much handled. So there was a backlog of cases from after COVID where it was taking about a year for cases to be reviewed. That's now to about 3 to 6 months, but still it's quite a lengthy system to go to court and have it appealed and go to court and have it appealed over and over. So what are you guys doing if you have lease listings? What are you doing to protect your landlords? How are you screening tenants now? I'm hearing even more tools like ADP. The payroll company has their own tenant screening tool that will actually look at their ADP payroll records to make sure they're legit. Single key is a big one. But what else are we using because it is part of our responsibility to screen the tenants and help our landlord make a decision, right? So what are we doing to help not lease properties to professional tenants? Single key is probably the major one.
don't take lease listings.
That's nothing wrong with that.
It's a
A lot of agents don't. I know a lot of agents that will not look at a lease listing or tenants as well.
That's a lot more responsibility than I think a lot of agents think. So we are taking one. You better understand the laws and how to actually qualify.
Had someone come in, did paper, have a listing side, lease, the nightmare.
Yeah.
And you accepted them, or Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's a very scary rule.
So how could we have known?
They got kicked out, and then in between the sheriff coming and kicking them out and that pleading, the judge quit, so they had to restart it again. So it was a 1.5 year process to get the people out.
It's awful. Meanwhile, your client's paying a mortgage and fees and taxes. Like,
Just to rest your minds a little bit here, we do have a lawsuit going on right now where somebody has sued us for X amount of dollars through one of our agents, and we're protecting our agent through our errors and business insurance. So even though there's perceived issues there, the agents themselves were protected by our E&O insurance.
Yeah.
In this particular case, the person had rented the place for a couple of years and then decided that they weren't going to pay rent for 2.5 years or something there. So some lawyer got a hold of it and said it's our fault for putting in a professional tenant into this building.
but they had been paying.
They've been
rent,
paying for 2 years,
so-
but didn't pay for another couple of years, and it's our fault. And this goes back like 4 years ago.
And we'll likely be okay, but this case has been going on now for 2 years.
Yeah, but you can sue anybody for anything, so that doesn't mean you're guilty. But
Yeah, so even for us, I mean, every year you get your one hearing or your one appointment, and then the next thing is another.
But the questions that they were asked, like during discovery, the questions that they asked Mr. To the agent. So what did you do to vet this client? That's in front of a judge, right? So you as an agent are supposed to answer that question. So how can you answer the question? That's what Carly's talking about.
Yeah, and so have it documented. If you're doing references, document that in writing that you did the reference and what they said. Use single key. You have to ask for as much as you can legally without going against human rights questions. You have to ask financial questions as much as you can.
And then somebody here told me this, that they took an ADP pay stub and scanned it and loaded it up to ChatGPT and said, can you tell me whether this is
I think it was
Fraudulent.
Equifax.
It was Equifax
think
report.
it was a credit
Equifax credit report. They just uploaded ChatGPT.
got
Can
it?
you tell me whether this is fake or not? And ChatGPT came back and said it's fake.
Yeah.
And what it did is it measured the alignment. Like when somebody's cut and pasting, the alignment on the page wasn't quite
Yeah.
right, so it caught something like that.
We had one like that. You would have barely known. It's like they had their scan or their credit report, printed it, scanned it. Everything looked okay, except I noticed there was one gray line which told me it was printed and scanned again instead of just like downloaded to the computer. And yeah, it was for an agent of ours that we were help validating. I don't think
I'm not suggesting the agents are doing this. I'm saying that the tenant's doing it.
that's right. Yeah. Most of the time, the agents
Like,
don't know.
the agent's not doing this, by
No,
the
no,
way,
no.
just so everybody knows.
Yeah,
It's
Yeah.
the
And I think that's why if you're somebody that's doing online lead gen, so you're farming, marketplace, Craigslist, that kind of thing, you've got to really screen the tenants because they're going on those sites knowing that they're going to try to catch an agent who's not going to dig into it that much. So don't be one of those people. You got to dig into everything and have your qualifying questions. And
Last year, the agent said he'd a fake doctor. He said,
that's right.
And I told the agent he's a fake doctor. And he says, I know. I said, but why did you say that?
Okay, so that's another story. So that's
I haven't heard that one.
that's a trip. That's a trip to the principal's room.
Most agents are unaware. I would
Yeah,
say.
most are
title
unaware.
Agents are unaware.
Yeah.
He said, yes, I know. I said, but why did you say that to him? He couldn't answer.
What brokerage do they work for? No.
Oh, he was.
Yeah.
Okay, don't worry.
I'm just kidding. Yeah, no.
He probably.
I mean,
he will deny.
Karma will get them.
That's what I mean by the principal's office.
That's right. USAN on our team is very good at looking at tenant stuff. So if you want like a second eye, send it over to us or USAN or ChatGPT and have it looked at.
What's that? Yeah, buy him a coffee or something.
You
for
also owe him a percentage of that deal that you review as well. You're not wrong. You can keep going if you have other stuff.
Where I actually double check real weirdos for those. And the tenant was lying about who. Just like,
Yep, you can do that too.
Do you guys read REM magazine? Something you could do. Does everybody get REM magazine? You get it in your mail, in your inbox, or just you guys get inbox? So there's a good article there talking about the psychology of negotiations in today's market, right? And it's kind of a good little thing there, just to read your soft there. I was going to read here, but it's fairly long here. But they're talking about here that in current market conditions, many Canadian larger cities are creating opportunities with increased inventory, less competition, buyers have more choices, motivated sellers are open to negotiations, hopefully. For realtors, negotiating these discussions successfully is no small feat. Many deals fall apart due to poor negotiations, whether it's giving up too soon, engaging in unnecessary arguments, relying too heavily on logic, And experts say emotions and psychology drive decision making. So the point here is that if you're trying to be logical with the whole thing instead of being emotional with the whole thing, you got to understand in negotiation how to work that. Cute little article. You should have a quick little read through that. Just understand that the sales technique isn't always nuts and bolts and facts and numbers. It's emotional things, and this is why we talk about what's their motivation. Like sellers are asking too much. Not that they're asking too much. It's just that their motivation isn't strong enough to make the property sell. Makes sense?
Yeah.
So you got to get the motivation. So good little article to read there. Just how the psychology of selling. Just it's more of an emotional thing rather than nuts and bolts and facts. There are some things coming up. So it's your builder. You want to do training? Is everybody okay with Realm? Everybody's dealing with Realm. Everybody's okay with all that type of stuff. Is everybody okay with FinTrack? Has anybody tried that FinTracker?
I still find it easier just to do the FinTrack form
do it yourself?
personally. I don't know. I've used both.
Okay. Something to do there. But there's lots of courses going down the TREB as well. So tell me here, transactions with the self-represented parties. We don't deal with self-represented parties that often here, right?
No.
Commissions and services under representative agreements. That's fine. Brokers say no. Okay, this is all for me. No.
I was gonna say though, I wouldn't necessarily do. I'll always do the OREA ones and report back on that stuff. But there is some really good CREA ones on FinTrack. I'm half thinking about making it mandatory, if I'm really honest, because it's free. You can do it at any time online. Not even my right thing, but yeah, they have a full FinTrack where it's like a module, so it's 7 modules, and you go through FinTrack. It's going to be mandatory in some capacity. So whether I do it to you guys on the training that you come and sign up for, or I just have you go to CREA and let me know that you did the CREA's training, I'll do it myself first and let you know how I feel about it. But there will be some sort of mandatory FinTrack training that everybody will have to complete because I have to, because will get audited every 2 years, and I've got a document that we've done updated training. Nothing's changed, thankfully, with FinTrack. Everything's the same as of last year, but you do know that the form did change, so it looks a little more daunting now. I don't know what you think. Maybe we'll do it ourselves first and make sure I like the content, but I have to think that if CREA is running a FinTrack event, they've done all the checks and stuff to save me a little bit of work. But OREA ones, I didn't love those topics, but the CREA one for FinTrack I think would be really good for everyone to do.
The oldest Toronto Real Estate Board member passed away last month. Last month? March 1st. Daniel Gargarella. You remember him?
I remember the name.
Go with the old name. Her and Marilyn Bobby and him were a thing at one time. I'm looking at the old guys here. So anyway, so I've always made a joke saying realtors don't retire, right? They just whatever else. So this poor guy died. He was 100 years old and still licensed.
Oh, wow.
That's amazing.
Actually, he was almost 101 years old, and I don't know if he's still working now. Who would hire a 101-year-old guy, man?
He just wanted access to the MLS. You can't get rid of your
He
access.
says, "I got lots of experience. I just can't remember it."
Oh, that's okay. Before we turn it over to Katelyn, just some what I thought would be new and fun things coming to Ontario. So whether you're out and about in the city or you want to talk about it with your clients, whole new Rogers Stadium is coming out. It's a 44-acre lot, and that was the Downsview Airport. So they're turning that into a concert venue, 50,000 person capacity. So it'll be concert. Apparently it's temporary. It's a temporary setup.
Yeah.
It's not permanent, but it will be humongous and officially open June 29th. They're starting off with a K-pop concert. And then London and Ottawa are getting their very own Hard Rock Hotel, if that interests you at all. St. Lawrence Market North building. So they've done a whole revamp of the north side of the building. It's been there over 25 years in the making. It's almost complete. $128 million they spent on this revitalization. But we'll have this Saturday Farmers Market and all the other stuff that St. Lawrence Market currently does. That is to be done for April 5th. They'll have the first one. New roller coaster at Canada's Wonderland. I don't know if you guys do Wonderland or if your kids go. Steve, do you guys have like a season's pass at Wonderland? Not your thing? You know you... We really like.
We used to have one.
We had one. We loved
That was our Wednesday.
But that could be a fun idea for clients, give them Canada's Wonderland passes or client gifts or whatever. But that will open for the season May 8th. Mervis Village Park, so at Bloor and Bathurst, they're where the Honest Eds used to be. They're doing a whole park kind of thing there. Bird-friendly gardens, picnic areas, things like that. And then the Toronto's Portlands, they're also redoing a whole new public park down in that area as well. Right now, they have a huge 2-story owl that you can like climb inside, and they're going to be building a raccoon friend next door to it. It looks kind of fun for kids and stuff, but it's in an interesting area of Toronto, right in the Portlands. So that's fun things happening in Ontario this summer.
Where is the PT? Colin?
Which one?
The first thing you mentioned.
The Downsview or Rogers Stadium?
Yeah.
Yeah, Downsview Airport. Downsview. I'm sure there'll be some sort of electronic EDM thing there. And then Ryan's art today was good. We like the Ryan videos, right? Oh, sorry.
Did you have one more?
What would you think about the reporter Director TV is leaving the country?
I know, I actually skipped this when I put it back in my pile over here. I'm like, that sounds too negative. Yeah. Number of Canadian travelers to the U.S., right? The number of people that are going to the U.S. or coming here, yeah, it dropped by 500,000 people.
I think it's all people leaving the country, not
Leaving the
vacation.
country?
Oh, yeah,
Leaving the country.
Like Canadians leaving Canada, or yeah, I don't have stats on it, but there are people going out to out west, out east as well. But I don't think as many as anyone thought. But yeah,
Leaving Toronto from
are you guys seeing people moving out of Ontario? Yeah. I have people that are talking about it, but no one's actually like done it.
More people talking about
Where are they going?
Like I have people that say I want to move to Halifax, but are still a few houses in Scarborough.
But I think there's a lot of those people have those visas or something that aren't renewing, right? So a lot of those people have to leave, right? A lot of international students and people here that are on work permits, and the work permits are being canceled, right?
these are like the citizens.
And the reason why they cancel them, well, if I understand that the jobs that they qualify are substandard jobs, like they're like working at Tim Hortons and stuff. They're not getting like educated jobs. I don't know. I don't know.
They are going, yeah.
No, these are not the immigrants they talk about. These are like citizens.
these are like citizens.
You're talking about citizens are actually leaving?
The citizens.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's as many as we think. I think people are just talking about it because they're angry. I don't know if anyone's actually like doing
So,
it.
Mr. Seller, you better sell today because a lot of people are leaving the country.
That's right. Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
I came to know of a lady who just went to the US. She's been in Canada for 35, 40 years. And they questioned her for hours.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's happening.
Yeah. If you go tomorrow, they will arrest you.
I know they said that if you stay longer than 30 days, they want to fingerprint you and get some kind of visa or something. So.
She was just
Yeah. Biden gave the visa for 5 to 8,000 people, and Trump said get out.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we're hearing a lot of stories like that.
So Carly and I don't come back in a couple weeks because we're stuck in Vegas.
We're starting up the new Percy Fulton in the States.
But this was booked before all of that stuff.
We're not coming either.
Yeah. If anyone missing us.
I'm sure they'll take us back.
Yeah, you can take a
Like,
day.
sorry, we gotta be live on
Come on,
Monday.
meeting.
Monday meeting, we gotta be back.
Okay, one last thing, just real quick here, and then Kay's going to go into everything there. So just so you know, Korea's proposing a $75 special assessment, and they're proposing increasing the entrance fee for brand new agents.
That's good.
And that's to cover their legal fees. In 2023, their legal fees cost $280,000. Sorry, $626,000 was their legal fees in 23. And in 2024, it's $4 million. Why is it $4 million? Because of those two lawsuits where they're talking about the co-op commission, which likely will be thrown out anyways, but they're still talking about it. So they, and I was wondering about that. Like the states, they got like fined like billions of dollars, and who's paying for that? So I guess in Canada, we're paying for it.
They have more people.
Right, the states that I think their MLS systems, I think down there were privately run, whereas our MLS system is owned by us.
Yeah.
So Korea gets sued, we get sued.
Yeah, but now Realtor.ca will be publicly.
Realtor.ca, they're trying to make it for profit.
Yeah.
Still owned by Korea.
Yes. Yeah. Interesting, fun.
Okay, so we did Ryan Serhant today. I thought it was pretty good. Still very like back to the basics type of training, but if you guys are online or here as well, every Monday we do Ryan Serhant training. So if you guys want some sales skills, lately we've been focusing mostly on strategies, scripting, objection handling, all that stuff. Today, they were just talking about how to get back in touch with your database, which is always one of my most common questions is, well, like, what do I say? What do I do? And then you end up just not doing it at all because you guys are scared to talk to people. So he was giving some tips and tricks on how to talk to your database. He ended it off, which I thought I'd started off with, was basically Ryan recommends following up until they buy or until they die. And then you go to their funeral. So I thought that was pretty fun. And he was giving some good stories, which we talked about at the beginning, how there's lots of clients and you guys are probably sending out CMAs, you're sending out market updates, you're sending all this stuff and they never respond, right? And then a lot of agents, what they'll do is they'll just say, okay, they didn't respond twice, so I'm done responding altogether. And that's the worst thing you guys can do. So even if your clients are ignoring all those cards you're sending them, all that stuff you're mailing out, keep doing it until they buy, die, or go to their funeral. There's lots of samples. We've had that too, or we've been following up with people. They didn't respond for 2 years. Then all of a sudden they're like, yep, I've been getting all your updates. Thank you. Now I'm ready to do something. So just because they're not responding, just means they're not ready to work with you yet. But a lot of them do read your stuff. He did kind of like a who, how, when. So who are we following up with? Past clients is probably our most important one. Old leads and our sphere of influence. So if you've got some past clients, he recommends reaching out twice a year and sending them just what their house is worth. So sending them comparables in their market, what's going on in their neighborhood twice a year. If it's an old lead, just keep following up, put them on your monthly newsletter, keep checking in, doing all that stuff. If it's their sphere of influence, don't ignore them either. If you've got friends and family and stuff, don't just ignore them. Ask these people for business as well. He got into how to do it, and Claire probably hates this part, but texting and DMs is the best way to follow up with people, mostly because this is the lowest risk way to stay in touch. It's easy to read. People can answer on their own time. It doesn't feel salesy. It's not so formal. And these are typically, you're sending DMs and texts to people that already know you. So you don't need to do a phone call and introduce yourself, ask them to get coffee. Like, people are busy these days. I prefer to be texted and DM'd as well because, again, when you're calling me in the middle of my day, I could be doing something. I'm not in the mindset to talk to you. So that's why texting and DMs works the best. So if you're not on top of that and you think you're too above texting and DMing, maybe try it, see if it works. People might respond to you.
I'm going to say it's not an old person thing too. We have clients in their 70s, 80s who still prefer to text and email us because they like to have a record of it. They like to see it. A lot of our like little ladies are up at night. They're night owls. So like at 1 a.m. it wouldn't be unusual for me to get an email and I wake up to it saying, hey, I like these properties. So it's not just an old young thing. It's a 2025 thing. Yeah. See, like this, he can't answer that call right now because you're live in a meeting. But if he was going to text you, you might be able to look at it and multitask.
Right now is not the right time.
See, sometimes you can't answer.
I think it depends on the person. I don't think it's old or new. Okay?
Yes.
Because I mean, if you text me, don't expect an answer.
Yeah,
but Claire's a good emailer.
Don't. Because what happens for me, text takes too long. What do you mean? Because then you start a conversation.
No, that's calling.
No. Somebody texts like, well, how's it going? You answer back. Next thing you know, you're texting back and forth. Pick up the phone and we're done.
People, no, because I find phone calls is the opposite. I feel like when you phone call people, they want to talk about their days, blah, blah, blah. Texting is like direct.
Yeah, you almost like feel bad when you're on the phone. Like you have to do the Canadian small talk thing before you can like get to business. You can't just
if you guys are texting, all you old guys, stop asking how their day was. Just get straight to the point. Like, for me, just get straight to the point.
Just ask the question. But we're not offended.
So you guys all know the best way to contact your clients is, right?
The way they want to be.
The best way to contact your clients?
Call.
No.
The way they want to be.
The way they prefer.
The way they want to be talked to.
Yeah,
exactly.
Which
not the way you prefer.
Don't text me.
Yeah. So for Claire, for example, he would probably prefer, he's the best to email.
Yeah.
Claire will email very quickly.
Yeah.
He prefers to do it when he wants to.
Yeah.
Email's the best way to get
The reason why I email is I can attach documents, I can attach things, I can do stuff like that. I'm not fooling around with all this text stuff.
Exactly. So they said email is best for old leads, special sphere of influence, data-driven clients, and also sending a mass communication at the same time. Phone calls is ideal for referral partners. So if you want to follow up for leads, calling your mortgage broker, business to business, people like agent to agent asking for referrals, great time to do phone calls. even better in person. So he was talking about how he does dinners with past clients and what he'll do instead of doing one-on-one dinners, he'll invite 10 clients to one dinner. They all get to network with each other. It's 1 hour or 2 hours instead of 10 hours. So if you guys want to do the in-person, those client events, stuff like that, that's good for those types of clients.
Let's go back for texting a minute. So has anybody done mass
Texting.
emailing?
Oh.
You know how to do that, right?
Yeah.
Has anybody done mass text messaging? I'm saying yes.
Gotta be careful.
Because it used to be used to cost about $5 a text to hire a company to do mass text emails. How are you doing?
I know you did cool. I think how much it is per text, but it's like not more than $1, I say, because I'm only spending about. I'm sending.
Okay, so that's okay. That's fine. That's okay. So the point is, so if everybody think about doing the mass texting, it's not just there is a program you've got to have. But again, I thought it was some say it's $1, some it was $5. But anyways, it's not easy as email. Email, you can just hit the button and goes, right?
In both forms of communication, you need permission. But I'm just gonna like plug that in there because we're on YouTube, just in case. Yeah.
Signed up for these automatic texts.
Yeah.
Reply, unsubscribe, or stop.
Yeah. So they have the option to opt in and opt out as well.
So if you'll get a mass text from Bell or from Rogers, right? And they have an opt out option when they do that.
They usually marketing it.
Yeah.
Okay.
That forced I think one a couple of weeks ago.
Did you give him permission to do that?
Said I could press stop.
Who's this, sir?
Landlord.
Yeah, but there's no law for politicians.
Yes, of course.
No, politicians. There's no
allowed,
call
yeah.
list for them. They can do whatever they want. Yeah, they're exempt.
I can be apologized.
They're exempt from all these texts.
From all that mass
They
messaging.
can call it.
Okay.
Don't call, they call.
The politicians do not call everything. Yeah.
So yeah, the point is there's lots of ways for you guys to follow up with people.
Yes.
Put it in your schedule. Follow up Fridays, whatever it is, you should always be doing follow-ups. Every person in your database should be hearing from you every season. So every quarter, whether it's a newsletter, whether it's direct message, whatever it is, everybody in your database should hear from you at least every season. New leads and old leads should hear from you every 90 days. If it's a hot lead, they should be hearing from you weekly at least. So that's for those follow-ups there. On other news, did you want to elaborate? Is that okay? Okay. We've got a lot happening in the next couple of weeks or so. This Wednesday, I'm going to be doing a webinar for you guys on the 4 agent archetypes. I talked a little bit about it a couple of weeks ago, but it was a session we learned at Chairman's Circle that I really liked, where they actually categorize agents into 4 different characters. And each character has a different way of prospecting and marketing that works for your personality. So if you're not a big social media person, you probably have a different way to find business that actually works for your personality. So I'm going to be talking about those 4 different archetypes and tell you exactly what you should be doing in your business that actually works for you and your personality, instead of trying to, like, if you're a shy person and you saw another agent being really successful at doing door knocking, so you thought you should go door knocking, but turns out you don't like doing it. Not every different type of way of doing marketing and prospecting works for every single agent. So I'm going to see what works out for each of you. All right, there. So like phone calling, maybe. If phone calling works for one agent, doesn't necessarily work for another agent. If one agent's doing really well on social media, that may not work for your personality. So you want to figure out what works for your specific personality, so that you guys are actually doing business in the proper way and finding clients that works for you and your personality and the things that you like to do, instead of copying each other. So we're going to do that on Thursday at 10:30. I'll send out more info on that. It's just a webinar. It's not going to be in person. So it's just from the comfort of your home. You can come in person. None of us will be here, but it will be online.
Just this is similar to the disc, or similar to the colors, or similar to the personality types. So it's
more on,
it's a 2025 version.
Yeah, it's like more, do you like to work with people that you know or people that you don't know? And do you prefer to directly reach out to people, or do you prefer people to reach out to you? Those are the 4 different types, and then it turns into 8 different types, turns into 4 personalities.
Can I just add to that too?
Yeah.
Okay, so what happens now, what I find is a lot of agents really like this because they want to know for themselves what they are. But the lesson should be, you should be able to look at your client and read what type of person he is or she is. Yeah. So it's okay to read all these different different categories of types of people and which one you are. But somehow you want to know what type is that client, because then you want to be able to deal with that client the way they want to be dealt with, not the way you want to be dealt with.
Yeah.
You follow me there? Did they teach that too? I'm sure.
Yeah, that's
Not in this archetypes. This is all in marketing and prospecting.
Yeah, like you just like if I like black and gold or else, and that's what I'm gonna do. And then my client likes blue and pink. I mean, I can come in black and gold. I can give them blue and pink.
change your personality.
Yeah, exactly. Not quite what we're doing Thursday or Wednesday, but we can add that to one of our conversations.
This one that we're doing Wednesday is not like a quiz. Like you decide for yourself which archetype you are, and it's about how you're going to work and how to best work for yourself. But yeah,
Similar. We'll do that one on a good session too. Other stuff to look forward to. We're going to be doing a challenge. It's a Century 21 Canada wide challenge. We don't usually participate in these, but I'm feeling competitive this year. So on April 5th to 6th, they're going to be hosting a Canadian-wide open house blitz. So I want you guys who do open houses or are thinking about doing open houses to clear your calendars for April 5th and 6th. So it's not this weekend, but the weekend after. And if I have any listing agents as well that are listening, I'm going to be reaching out to you guys as well. Think about offering a really cool open house weekend and making yourselves available. What they used to do during this open house blitz is they actually used to offer Wayfair prizes for the guests that attended your open houses, and they would win like a gift card for that. When we went to Chairman's this year, we thought, why don't we actually reward the agents that are doing the open houses instead of the buyers and sellers that are coming? So for every agent that hosts an open house, every open house that you guys do, you get to submit to C2 on Canada or the office, and you can enter to win yourself a prize. There's one of 3 prizes or $2,100 of cash. So I don't even think it's a gift card. You just get $2,100 cash. And the more open houses that you do on that weekend, obviously the more applications you get submitted. So I thought it'd be fun if you could even find a vacant open house. You doesn't necessarily have to bring in guests like we used to, but even if you guys find a vacant house and maybe you do an hour at each vacant home, pick a 4 or 5 open houses for that weekend and just do a bunch. Do one in the morning, one in the afternoon, one at night. Have some fun with it. We're going to send more information out for it, but you guys are going to be competing with all of C2 on Canada. And if our office also gets entry for every single one that you guys do as well. So there's an agent prize and then there's an office prize as well. The office prize is swag. I think pens, notebooks, pins, backpacks, worth about $2,100 C21 swag, which hopefully we can give out. And then the agent will get $2,100. So I'll give out more information on that. They're going to be sending us more information. I think they're going to give us like sign-in sheets and a bunch of stuff as well. But if you guys aren't doing anything 5th and 6th, maybe open yourself up to do some open houses that weekend, just to get a cash prize and also obviously find some clients. So we're going to be on the hunt for some listings that week. And maybe next week when the listings get popped up, maybe we'll reach out to all the listing agents to say, hey, who needs an open house? You guys as agents that don't have listings, maybe you're aggressively reaching out to the agents, but thought that would be a little fun challenge. We're going to do a 100-day challenge, but let's start off with this. Let's see how you guys do for one weekend. I saw another office do 100 open houses in 100 days, and they had a challenge in the office, but that might be aggressive for now. So we'll start with a weekend.
And just so you know, in the past we've done this, and one of our clients, one of our open houses won.
Yeah.
So,
which is cool, but like that sucks for the agent.
I think it was Warren Nelson's son.
Was that yours? Okay, well this year the agents are winning.
you guys can always do a giveaway.
Yeah, exactly. Your clients won it.
It's a landscape package.
Oh, cool. You guys can still do a giveaway for people that come.
Yeah, like maybe if you win or something, give it away. But yeah, so we'll send some more. We've got a lot happening in April, which I won't dive too deep in, but like Beta, the paralegal, is going to come back. Carly's going to be doing a session on forms. We have another exciting event that we'll do. An even more exciting event, Sanek's going to host it. It's called Tech Day. So Sanek's going to be teaching a bunch of tech. DigiSign. I think DigiSign we have on there, like
Realm.
ChatGPT, Realm. So if my less techie agents are here, this is going to be the session hosted by Sanek. And I think that's all I got. Oh, and Buzz is doing something next week, which is going to replace us. Buzz Conference has something on Thursday. It's a virtual conference. So I'm going to send you guys out notice for that. It's free. So I'll send links for that too.
If you're in like planning mode and you want to save the date, August 13th will be our family days. And September 25th, there's going to be a C21 Blue Jays game. So we don't have information on it yet, but they're not doing a conference this year. They're replacing it with a Blue Jays game, September 25th. So we don't have tickets yet, but we're all invited. So we'll keep you posted on that if you want to block off those days.
And this Thursday is the Jays home opener, which we will be attending as well if anyone would like to join us.
Sports, yay.
Hey, sports.
And
Claire
I
doesn't know about that.
Any questions online or any listings that anyone wants to talk about? Any?
Cardi might do for business.
Sure. Any closing remarks from you? Questions? No?
No.
Okay.
Have a great
Go
week.
Canada, go.
Yeah.
Go Canada.
Go Canada. In all aspects.
Elbows up.
All right. Have a good week, everybody. See you next Monday.